When we talk about Mekong country, we talk about one of the richest region of the world, the region that still have natural resources, the region that back to only less than 15 years ago, for example, in Laos, 80% of the Lao people still using the natural resources directly for their daily life.
First, Mekong River is a source of their fisheries, and second, it's a source for their agriculture activities. Third, also it's the source for their waterway transport.
I mean, until now, there's been relatively little dam construction on the Mekong River aside from in Thailand. And in some ways, like, the fact that the Mekong hasn't been dammed is fortunate for the region because it remains central to food security. The Mekong region's countries' economies have started to accelerate and grow. There's been increasing interest in building large dams on the Mekong River's tributaries and on its mainstream.
喺呢個即係湄公河，特別喺東南亞地區，其實我諗一樣啦。其實即係同中國嘅情況都一樣，佢哋都希望即係透過呢個發展佢哋嘅本身經濟嚟到去即係改善佢哋自己個國家個情況。咁所以咧就喺呢個原因之下咧，水壩咧其實係必須要係即係發展啦，同埋係亦都係要大規模發展，亦都。
Well, certainly there's a strong move from developers to develop the hydropower potential on both the tributaries and the mainstream. The hydropower resources of the basin are only exploited so far about 5 or 10% of the potential. But they, like any other project, dams they're sensitive. We all know that, and there are pluses and minuses which need to be taken into account.
For sure, at the moment there are 53 dams that are going to be built. Either they exist already, or they are under construction, or they have been firmly committed. But there are plans for many more. At least 212 as of today.
These proposals have significant implications for the ecosystems and for the people of the Mekong River.
I 相信將來瀾滄江湄公河嘅發展都會個步伐都會係越嚟越快啦。其實最主要原因就係特別喺呢2年嘅經濟嘅發展，咁因為有越嚟越多嘅建設係會喺即係瀾滄湄公河沿岸係會落成，咁即係包括即係一啲橋啊、公路啊、鐵路啊、水利發電啊呢啲咁樣嘅設施係會越嚟越多係會落成，咁所以即係會對當地嘅生態有幾大影響，我相信都會係好大嘅，即係亦都有好多嘅即係生態嘅改變係會造成。
The biggest issue with these dam proposals will be fisheries, and as I said before, the fisheries in the basin is the largest inland fishery in the world, and it supports millions of people who don't have access to other resources.
So these dams really have an impact because they obstruct migrations and they prevent the fish from completing their life cycle. So that's really the danger.
We are now talking about 11 dams on the Mekong mainstream, in the lower Mekong mainstream. And from what we understand, only 1 or 2 dams will already take away the lots of fish, and that will be immediately affect to the livelihood of millions of the people.
The issue for hydropower fisheries relates to what extent can the migratory fish, which comprise probably half of the diverse 1,300 species that live in the Mekong, to what extent can they continue their migrations?
It's completely unrealistic to claim that fish passes will help mitigate the impact. The total biomass expected to be impacted ranges between 0.7 and 1.6 million tons, more than 10 times the size of the fishery sector in Australia. We're talking about really big numbers having a very big impact on food security.
Mekong Delta is one of the, it's central to Vietnam's food production. It produces, I think, 40% of the rice crop and around the same amount of the fruit crop. Building dams on the mainstream will reduce the sediment transport to the Mekong Delta, which is already at risk from climate change.
Thì dĩ nhiên chúng ta đều biết là ở Trung Quốc, những con đập ở Trung Quốc thì chắc chắn nó sẽ tác động đến Lào. Và những con đập ở Lào lại tăng thêm cái tác động của nó đến cái khu vực Campuchia và sau đó là đến Việt Nam. Thì những cái tác động này nó càng ngày nó càng thể hiện rõ hơn. Là các cái chế độ nước nó sẽ không còn như trước đây nữa. Vào mùa khô thì chúng tôi sẽ bị hạn hán, thiếu nước, và vào cái mùa mưa thì có thể là lượng nước nó không còn đủ để mà nó đem phù sa đến cho cái đồng ruộng cũng như là không đủ để mà giúp cho cái việc thao chua rửa phèn ở tại cái khu vực đồng bằng sông Cửu Long.
Key issue is that the benefit is not coming back to the people. People learn that people who in the community that used to be very rich, they became very poor after the dam.
It's not that we're against dams, but we believe that people should be adequately compensated. And we believe that poor people, the people whose lives are integrated with the river, need to be given special consideration. If these dam projects are really profitable and they're really going to, help society, then that shouldn't be a problem. You take those profits and you pay people and compensate them properly for the lives of the projects. But I don't see that being proposed.
I think, the reason why less dams are being built in Western countries nowadays is simply because there's better energy options. So dams are being removed because the electricity or the irrigation, the resources that it provides doesn't make sense, and there's better ways to use the river than damming it.
I think that's probably too much of a simplification. Hydropower certainly is an old technology. It's been around for more than 100 years, and many parts of Europe and North America have exploited and developed a large percentage of their hydropower potential. The areas of Asia, whether it's Southeast Asia or South Asia, have only tapped a small percentage of that potential.
而面對住而家好多，就算即使係即係唔起水壩，起其他嘢咁樣，其他嘢、其他能源都有佢哋各自本身嘅問題。咁我哋可能真係要去平衡量邊一個方案先至可以達到滿足到我哋社會嘅需求，而滿足到亦都同時係滿足到即係地球嗰個嘅生態嗰個環境嗰個改變咁樣。
Chúng ta đôi khi là chúng ta quá mải mê với việc phát triển, nhưng mà chúng ta quên việc phát triển là để đi tìm cái hạnh phúc. Kể cả những nước ở thượng nguồn và ở hạ nguồn đều phải suy nghĩ. Và tôi nghĩ là cái trách nhiệm ở đây phải là cái trách nhiệm về tinh thần.